We're live. It is showtime. This is Ask a Clutter Boss. It is Tuesday, January 28th. It is so windy here. I am just fingers crossed that this live stream keeps working and the wind doesn't overpower my voice. It's crazy, crazy times. Okay, so hello and welcome to everybody who is joining us live. I see Mary, Kesey, Mitzi, Madonna, Marie, or Lorene. So many here live. Thank you for being here. We have had a couple of good discussions and questions that have been submitted, so I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. One of the questions we had submitted recently was, can I send you pictures of what I am dealing with? You are always welcome to send your pictures and personal stories to our main Clutter Boss email address, which is support@clutterboss.com. We can look at your pictures, but if you're looking for kind of like a one-on-one consultation, like I were to answer that question, if I were to look at your pictures and talk about them on here, I don't think that that's really what you're wanting if you want to send us pictures privately. But we can always schedule a phone call and do like a one-on-one consultation for a small fee. You can also post pictures into our It's All Clutter Facebook group. That is a private Facebook group, although I will say Facebook is rapidly changing a lot of stuff. And even though it's a private Facebook group, we do have over 20,000 people in there. And, privacy, I guess, in the age of the internet is an ever-changing thing. So if you sent it to our email address, then it would just be seen by me, our support team, which is a few incredible women, and Gina, my business partner. So that's probably your best bet. But without any more context, and by submitting a question like that, it's hard to really give an answer as to what you're looking for. I will say, when people ask if they can send us pictures, it's usually because you may feel like your situation is worse than other people's. And I just want to say that we have worked with every level of clutter and quote unquote hoarding. I don't love that word hoarding, but we have worked with every level of clutter that you can imagine. It really doesn't matter how much clutter you have. The process and the procedure is pretty much the same. Figuring out something that works for you, embracing a different way of thinking, getting the support that you need in your personal life, be it a therapist, or a financial advisor, or a good trusted friend. I mean, support comes in all different forms. It can look different to each and every one of us, and it can change the type of support that you need may change over the course of your decluttering journey. And in fact, when I created Clutter Boss Academy, which is our signature program at Clutter Boss, inside of Clutter Boss Academy, we have so many different experts working with our group. We have a psychotherapist, we have a financial person, we have a health coach, we have a mindset coach. We have all these different types of coaches inside of CBA, because what I recognized from many years of working in people's homes was this decluttering journey touches on so many different aspects of your life. And it's really, we call it decluttering. We kind of start with the stuff, but it's never actually ultimately about the stuff. It's about so many different things. It's about your history. It's possibly about past trauma. It is possibly about difficult relationships, financial struggles, mindset shifts, or just general overwhelm with life. I mean, we have generations worth of stuff in our home. We deal with things today that we have never, ever dealt with ever before. Life can get very lifey for a long time, and the stuff can just so easily accumulate. So, whatever the reason is that you have clutter, and however much clutter you have, there is a path forward. And it doesn't, sending us pictures, we're happy to look at them for sure. But I will tell you, your pictures are not going to look any different than other pictures, thousands of pictures that we have seen over the course of doing this for the last, we've been online as a business since 2020. So 5 solid years online. We've worked with tens of thousands of clients. And then I have personally worked in many different homes with many different levels of clutter. The thing is, there is a path forward. There is a path forward. And the more that you're willing to share what's going on, try something new, fight for yourself. So we spend a lot of time cycling in our heads. Should I do this? Should I not do this? I want to do this, but I don't have the energy to. I mean, we devote a ton of energy to just our thoughts. And if you could take a fraction of that energy and start fighting for yourself by taking small action, any small action is going to make a significant, significant difference in your journey. Talking about action. So there have been a number of comments, questions, and discussions that have come up that have made me really think about some of the lessons and mindset shifts that I was adamant about during the period of time where we were dealing with COVID. I wanted to revisit some of those. I haven't maybe talked about them in a while, but they're definitely worth bringing up right now. So number one, there is, clutter is stockpiling a lot of times. We hang on to things because we might need it in the future. There might be an emergency. There might be a situation that comes up. We might not have the money. There's so many, we might need it in the future. It might be useful in the future. We've talked about this a lot on this show. I want to encourage you, when stockpiling is also can be based in fear. What if I don't have what I need when I need it? That is a fear-based motivation. So first off, it's helpful to replace fear with faith. And I'm not talking religious faith, although if that resonates with you, you can certainly take this and look at it that way. But I am talking about faith that in the future, you will have what you need when you need it. And the thing that we tend to need the most, the absolute most in emergency situations, is a skill set, not stuff. So when we look at big natural disasters, actually, the more stuff we have, the more difficult it is to deal with our situation. The more skills that we have, the easier it is to deal with our situation. So if you are feeling like you're riding kind of a fear roller coaster and you want to have all the things, buy all the things, keep all the things, all the physical stuff for an unknown future, I want to encourage you to channel that energy into learning a new skill set or strengthening a skill set that could serve you in an actual natural disaster, in an emergency, in a period of time where you may feel like you're struggling. Skill sets come in all different shapes and forms. One skill set that I have really dug into personally is shifting the way that I think about things. That is a skill. That is something that you have to learn, how to think differently about circumstances. And it takes time and it takes practice. That is a great skill set to dive into. But there's so many other skill sets that can come in handy in all different types of situations. Another, and I'm just going to share from my personal life here because that is the context through which I help other people, is what has worked for me, of course, and what I see working for others. But your personal story is so important, and it's not just mine, yours too. One skill that I am really, and if you know me, if you're in CVA, you hear me talk about this a lot, but is lifting and getting physically strong. I feel like physical strength and mental strength are very connected. I feel like I am in a lot of situations now where I have the actual strength to move, carry, transport, use my body in a way that helps me in the situation. And that is definitely a skill that I have been really honing in on for a couple of years now. But there's so many different skills that we can dig into. And when you feel like I have to keep this, I need to buy this, I need to accumulate, acquire all of those things I need to stockpile. Consider if you can take action instead and dive into a new or improve a skill set that you have that could help you in an emergency. So channel that fear into new skill sets. So skills over stockpiles. That is the phrase that I used to use all the time during COVID. And I think that it's a good one to share every so often to remind you if you get into a point where you're fearful about the future, can you channel that energy into developing a new skill set that can help you in any situation instead of feeling overwhelmed, fearful, accumulating a lot of stuff, and feeling overwhelmed by the amount that you've accumulated? From that note, I want to move on to there is a trend right now on social media that is so in alignment with the work that we do in Clutter Boss, and that is no spend 2025. There are so many influencers right now that are sharing how they are spending $0 or setting their parameters for spending this year and really bucking the trend of overconsumption. I could not be more in favor of this. No spend 2025. I love this concept. In fact, if you've done boot camp, you know the first thing we teach is to stop the flow of items into your house while you increase the flow of items out of your house so that you can reduce the amount of clutter that you have. If you are bringing stuff into your house on a regular basis, the only way your home is going to stay decluttered or somewhat organized is if that same volume of stuff is leaving your house at the same time. So, they say like one in, one out. I mean, it's never one in, one out because we bring so much more in. Like one thing has a lot of packages and whatever that come with it. But that whole idea, one in, one out. But what happens when we have a lot of clutter, we have not had that flow in our homes. So we need to actually stop the flow of items in and increase the flow of items out. Otherwise, you will never, ever get decluttered. If you don't stop the flow of items in and increase the flow of items out, this is a mathematical equation. If your house comfortably holds 500 square feet of stuff in storage, and you have, let's say, 1,500 square feet of stuff that needs to be stored, even if you start decluttering, if you don't stop the amount that is coming in at the same time, you're never going to get to that living within the storage that you have, ever. We have to stop the flow of items into our house. We see over 10,000 advertisements every single day. And again, if you've done boot camp, we talk about this extensively. We see so many advertisements. There are so many triggers to purchase and bring things into our homes. And we end up with an overwhelming situation in terms of clutter. We end up with an overwhelming situation in terms of our finances. This undermines the relationships in our life. It can create isolation and fear. We end up in just because you're here. We end up in a situation that feels insurmountable. If you want to start to break this cycle, one very important part is to stop bringing stuff into your house. And I know that there are not a lot of professional organizers who are going to say these words to you. It's almost like there's a fear that if we tell people to stop buying stuff, like we can't, that's like crossing a line. So I'm crossing that line. I'm going so far onto the other side of it. You have to stop bringing stuff into your house if you want to get decluttered, period. There is absolutely, positively no way around that. Now, this is not forever. In the future, yes, of course, you can bring stuff in. But if you want to be decluttered, you have to live within the space that you have. And if you have to live within the space that you have and you have clutter, if you continually bring stuff in, free stuff, any stuff, you're never going to get to where you want to get to. So cold, hard truth. And instead of fighting against this idea, because I know, again, this is a mathematical equation, okay? This is, if you have X amount of storage space and you have 2X amount of stuff, it's never going to work. So instead of fighting against it, embrace it. See how much money you can save this year. Do a no spend 2025. See how little you can bring into your house. Challenge yourself, gamify it, make it fun, embrace it. Embrace it. Be true to what you know to be true and just go for it. I mean, make this your new skill set for 2025. How can I, like, how much of my own stuff that I have can I actually use? Like, can I go through my stockpiles? Can I stop bringing stuff into my house? There was another good comment in It's All Clutter that talked about the difficulty of Dollar Tree. So everyone has their thing. Everyone has their store, their collection, their thing that they have a lot of or that they really struggle with when it comes to consumption, how much we consume, what we consume. Some people have multiple things, like just giant collections of whatever that they're really into. That is okay. I mean, I I always tell you, I have a big backpack collection. I hike, I go into the woods, I backpack. I love backpacks. I have a bigger backpack collection. I know more about backpacks than most people, right? That's my thing. But I also have a certain amount of space in my house for my backpack collection, and that is it. And I live within that space. And that's what we have to do with our collections. Now, if Dollar Tree is your Achilles heel, if that's the thing that you get sucked into and everything is a dollar, although, okay, everything is not a dollar there, but that's besides the point. But everything is like dirt cheap, and you go in there and, oh, I just get this, get this, get this. I would encourage you and whether it's Dollar Tree or Walmart or another big box store, Amazon, I would encourage you to really, one thing that can help a lot with this is to educate yourself about the corporation that you are supporting. Because once you learn, especially, especially about Dollar Tree, they are one of the absolute worst corporations that exists on this planet. And if you don't believe me, type it into Google, read the investigative reports, look at what is actually happening at Dollar Tree. You will never want to set foot in that store ever again. Educate yourself about the corporations that you are supporting. There's not a lot of things that we individually have control over in the global world, right? Like globally, the big problems that we're facing as individuals, we have a small amount of control. But one thing we can control is where we spend our money and the corporations that we choose to support. And once you read and learn about Dollar Tree, I guarantee you will not ever want to shop there again. And the same thing goes for other big corporations. If you're struggling with specific places that you love to shop, there are ways that you can stop. And one tool that you can put into your toolbox is education. Learn about the companies you are supporting. So at least if you do choose to support them, you're making an educated decision about who you're choosing to support. It really makes a huge difference. Seriously. All right. That was kind of my entire, okay, so we talked about sending in pictures, skills over stockpiles, no spend 2025, and Dollar Tree. And maybe just for curiosity, go look and learn about Dollar Tree. It's really fascinating how horrible they are. Cold hard truths just flow in here. Fight for yourself, my friends. Fight for yourself. If it comes down to, the struggle with clutter, the overwhelm, don't let clutter win. You deserve a home that empowers you to make change in your community, empowers you to be a supportive friend, family member, community member, empowers you to do what you believe to be important. You deserve that home. Don't let clutter beat you down. You deserve that space. Take it back. Yeah, Dollar Tree, Dollar General, they're all terrible. All right. On that note, go get them. Go declutter. Learn a new skill And I will see you next week, same time, same place for another episode of Ask a Clutter Boss. Have a great day, everyone.